all students here? You're a student? You're a student?
I'm a student.
You're a student as well? Are y'all having some type of like program for like a club activity, or what all is happening here?
We're having a conversation.
Okay. Is that just based off of is that based off of you just as an individual, or just like part of a campus ministry, or?
It's individualistic.
I just came up and talked to them.
Say that again?
I just came up and talked to them.
Okay. So you're not the one who's actually hosting the conversation?
Well, if we come up and talk to them, then yeah, we would be initiating the conversation.
No, I'm talking about there's like a sign here. Like you all what the sign?
Well, the signs are relevant. I mean, we can take the sign down.
Yeah, that's our sign. We don't mind taking the sign down if that's the issue.
If that's the problem, yeah.
I didn't say there was a problem. I'm asking questions. Just
No.
generally trying to gain some understanding.
Cool, yeah.
So you all are initiating the cookies and conversation with other students, or are you guys initiating the cookies and conversation?
These two gentlemen are sitting here, open to having a conversation with anybody. And if they choose to come up, then they will have a conversation, and then they'll offer cookies. But it's not good for like any type of monetary value or anything like that.
Sure.
They just happen to have cookies out.
Sure. I guess what I'm trying to understand is you all kind of convening here. Are y'all doing this as a part of a student-initiated, like student-run ministry or program, or is it just individuals just kind of sitting down, having conversations with them?
I mean, that's what
The
college
latter.
is for, right?
Say that again?
That's what college is for, right? People exchanging ideas and learning things that they otherwise wouldn't learn. That's the whole point of a college campus, is for people to just meet and talk and learn from one another.
Right. But my question is, are you all representing a student organization?
I represent myself and myself alone.
So this is not a student organization event.
No, this is no kind of event.
Oh, okay. And are you all taking responsibility and ownership for this program as students?
There's no
Is this something that
program.
you're overseeing?
There's no
Yeah,
program.
there's no program. It's not a program. It's not any type of event. It's
Yeah, we're
nothing.
just exercising our First Amendment right to speak. So
And it's a public place, community college, all that kind of stuff. So it'd be like if I went over to that group of table of people over there and started talking to them.
Sure.
Same concept.
Sure.
2 gentlemen here, 3 females there. I can go over and have a conversation with them. It's not going to be a problem.
Can I ask what y'all are talking about? By any chance?
Well, just any type of conversation that happens to come up, but it's more on the lines of religion.
our first game is actually
Say that again.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
Philosophy.
And there's been different religions and stuff like that.
high school.
Yeah.
Kind of tossed around.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say the philosophy religion.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking about Taoism when you came up.
Talking about
my
what?
friend here's a Taoist, so we were talking a little bit about Taoism and Zen Buddhism,
Okay.
for example. Yeah.
Earlier we were talking about school and higher education. The gentleman that just left a few minutes ago was talking about politics. Kind of a wide-ranging conversation, nothing very specific.
Any particular reason why y'all aren't wearing your mask when you're inside?
Back to the
Dude, my dad.
Say that again.
He said, "Dude, if I wasn't a lawyer, bro, y'all be screwed." I'm like,
Yeah, we were eating some crackers. Some students brought us some crackers.
But I can put my mask on real fast if you'd like.
That'd be helpful. So, to me,
They were not wearing their mask over there either, by the way.
say that again.
I said those ladies right there aren't wearing their mask either. Neither is that gentleman or that woman right there.
Sure.
It's, if you wanted to address every person in this room not wearing a mask, you could.
I kind of assumed if you were actively eating and drinking that not wearing a mask is probably fine, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm wearing my mask because I've set my food aside at the moment, which I just came over here to see what was going on.
Sure.
Yeah, it's your policy, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Say that again.
It's a policy of your community college to wear a mask.
The university?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's signage and of course there's policies around here that's talking about wearing a mask when you're inside. Obviously when you're eating, there are exceptions to that, but for the most part, if you're not, consuming food, then you should be wearing a mask when you're
Show
inside.
it to me in the Georgia State judicial law system where the law has been made that we can't,
So,
we have to wear a mask.
I can show you the university's policy,
that's,
There's no law.
yeah.
I can't show you a law.
What he's getting to is you can't ask him to leave a public space for not following policy. Policy applies only to employees, staff, and technically students because students on campus have to wear masks.
That's not necessarily 100%
No, that is true. You cannot force him to leave a public space.
I haven't asked anybody to leave.
I know. I'm just saying. If
I don't know where that's coming from.
If that's where it's getting to, you cannot ask him to leave.
I haven't accused anybody of
I
anything.
know. I know.
I haven't.
I'm just saying, if I'm getting ahead of you a little bit and saying if that's where this is going, you cannot ask them to leave for not wearing a mask.
So,
I mean, you can ask, but they don't have to.
sure. So, here's the thing. I'm not in the business of wanting to argue or go back and forth or anything along those lines, right? Obviously, or maybe not obviously, but there were some complaints made earlier from some individuals, and so because there were complaints made, I simply wanted to come in here and have a conversation to figure out you all side of what's happening. And so, yeah, I'm good with it.
We feel like we owe you a cookie at this
I'm good on
point.
the cookie though. I appreciate that. Water? I'm good. Thank you so much.
Harris to
Yeah.
now where is it? Seems like I know. That's a friend of mine, Thomas Harris, but he's like owns a commercial property.
Sure. Okay.
Are you from Gainesville?
I'm not. No. So here's one of the things that I did want to connect with you all about. So we have certain spaces on campus that are designated as designated public forums or expressive activity spaces.
Speak zones, right?
We don't call it free speech zone, we call it expressive activity, designated public forum. And those spaces are just outside the student center over there to the right. And so, generally speaking, if we have individuals who are not affiliated with UNG in the sense of being a student, a faculty, or a staff member, or they're not here on behalf of any type of group or anything along those lines, and they're convening in a space, we ask them to make some type of reservation in order to be able to come to that space. And that reservation process is pretty simple. It's mainly for us to know, how many people are coming through, what to anticipate, things along those lines, insurance, safety for
I've
everyone.
already signed the paperwork concerning the free speech zone. I went into the office and I gave them the name of our ministry or the one that I go by.
Sure.
501c.
Sure.
And,
When did you do that?
oh, it's been when I first started coming.
Okay. So there has to be a form each time you're coming to represent your organization or your mission.
So if there were an event, if we were hosting an event, let's say, like, one example would be the Great Exchange that we do with John Dean sometimes. So we always get we always register for that because it's an event out there where we're, we've got a little table set up, a little tent, stuff like that. See, we're happy to do that, but today we're just having conversations with other citizens.
Okay.
So if we were to not comply with that, what would happen?
So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you all this expressive activities form. It outlines the policy, it outlines the guidelines. It wouldn't be something that you all would be able to do today because it just wouldn't have the time to be approved. But certainly if you all wanted to come back another day, you certainly could. Our campus police are there. Our goal is not to kick you all out or arrest you all or anything along those lines. But it's my understanding that is their training for when there are perceived or alleged violations of this expressive activities policy. And so for me, I'm just trying to diffuse. I'm trying to help bring education. Our Dean of Students here, her name is Allison Paul. Her contact information is on this card. Also have my contact information on this card as well. So if y'all did want to reach out to us, you certainly can. I appreciate you for being willing to listen and to engage. If you all can, when you're not consuming food, if you can please put on your mask, that'll be great comfort to the students and to follow the policy. And again, when we see other people, we're addressing them as well. Y'all have questions, concerns, things along those lines?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this building public access? Like, can anyone from the public come in here, say that they wanted to go down the hall and get some information from one of the lobbies?
Certainly.
So, if this is public access, then if the police told you that they could arrest them for sitting here and having a conversation because it violates your guidelines, that's incorrect. The police can't arrest someone based on policy. They can arrest somebody based on law, but they can't arrest someone based on policy. So if that's what they were saying, then that's
and I don't know if it's going to necessarily be arrest or criminal trespass or something along those lines.
Well, again, in order to criminal trespass someone from a public building, they have to break a law. So unless they're breaking a law by being here, you can't really do anything about them sitting here.
Okay. So to me, right, and this is just commentary, really. I think there is a perception, right, that this could potentially be more than just a conversation, right? I think when you are having signs, when you're giving out, treats and things along those lines, that seems more of a program. That seems more of an event. And because it is perceived as an event, that's what we have this designated public forum policy and expressive activity thing in place, right? And so, the signs are here, the cookies, like those, that's an event. And when it's somebody not in a part of the university, when there isn't someone that's student leading this and things along those lines, like you mentioned, this is for your ministry, your 501(c), right? So that's when the policies then start to become applicable.
Yeah, like I said, if you would like us to take the cookies for conversation sign down, we're more than happy to do that. But otherwise, we're just a couple of American citizens having a free will discussion with other American citizens who want to talk to us in a public forum. So I think the policy that is pertinent here is very clear. It's the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States.
So, and I wanted to make it clear that I didn't force you to say that you wanted to put the sign down. If you do that, I can certainly follow back up with them to see if that kind of falls within the guidelines and that way that issue is resolved. I appreciate y'all for having this conversation. Faith is something that's really important to me as well. So, yeah.
You said that this is perceived as an event, and you've already asked several people that it's not an event. So now that you know it's not an event, can you not just go back to them and let the higher ups know that it's not an organized event, even though it is?
From the university perspective, this will be considered an event, right?
So it is considered an event.
I understand the nuances of what you're trying to say, but from an outside organization that's doing something along those lines, it would be considered an event from the university.
Okay.
University.
You said perceived, so I just wanted to clarify.
So what would make it not an event? Just to try to clarify, so that if the sign were down, that would be the important change that you would like to see.
Because people know me, they don't eat cookie man.
Yeah. Cookie Monster. Yeah, that's what I call
I'm
it.
not the cookie. I don't eat the cookies. I won't eat the cookies, but I'm not.
Yeah. If Melanie tells me I'm telling her I did not let you eat any cookies.
Thank you. Keep me out of hot water with my wife.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that would make it not an event is an outside organization coming and representing that outside organization on campus, right? So
they've said they're not necessarily representing an organization. They are part of an organization, but they've said they're just two individuals who are here having a conversation. So it's not. There is a little bit of nuance to it, in that yes, they do work, or not necessarily work for, but are part of an organization. But they're not here on behalf of that organization. They're here on behalf of themselves.
Yeah.
okay, that wasn't my understanding of what he just said.
Oh, as far as the ministry name, his ministry?
You said his ministry?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm here under that name, but I'm not. I have a 501(c) through a different organization besides this one. But does that really matter if it's a nonprofit? I'm not selling the cookies or selling the water. All I am doing is sitting having a conversation with people. That's basically this on the sign says a cookie for a conversation. I'm not belittling anyone. I'm not telling them, they're wrong. We're just building relationships.
And I just found out that he's part of a ministry, so obviously this wasn't represented by any type of ministry. Or that would have been one of the first things that we were told whenever we came up to have a conversation, is that, this is under a certain ministry.
The only reason, yeah, the only reason that I told you that is because I want to be honest and upfront with you. Sure, I did fill out the paperwork, so, but like Rick said, I don't really see a reason why we couldn't just sit here and talk to the students. I mean, if they would say we don't want you around, we're causing problems. I don't know who came into your office who said this. We're coming up to them.
Yeah.
I never left this table.
Or if somebody said, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you," that'd be fine. We would certainly not talk to that person.
I think the concern was the layered approach, right? So the concern was the not wearing of the mask, the perceived, gathering of a program for someone who wasn't registered. Like all of those factors is the reason why I'm coming to have this conversation. So I'm trying to address each of those points individually.
Yeah, you're on staff.
Say that again.
Or you're on staff, or you're
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on staff. You're coming to me as a citizen under the United States Constitution, telling me that I can't have a conversation.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are certain guidelines that the university has set in place as far as expressive activity, as far as gathering of outside organizations and entities that are not students, faculty, and staff. And there are certain protocols that have to be followed. Right? And so,
What constitutes expressive activity? I think that would be really important for us to know. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I wouldn't consider a conversation. We just met actually. What's your name?
I'm Joseph.
Joseph. Yeah, my conversation with Joseph, for example, you approached me, correct? And it's like you wanted to just talk. If we're just having a conversation like that, I mean, the way you're using expressive activity, does that constitute expressive activity, or is that just a conversation between two individuals? You see my question? I'm trying to figure out like what your meaning is. Yeah, like what constitutes expressive activity?
yeah, can I see the form? All right, so let's see here.
So are you saying that the guidelines of your school supersede the authority of the Constitution or the Georgia state laws?
What I'm saying is that I have a responsibility to address any potential policy violations, and that's all I'm trying to do.
But if they violate the policy, it doesn't matter if they haven't broken the law. As
Say
long as
that
they're in
again.
public. If they violate policy, it doesn't matter as long as they haven't broken the law in public.
If someone, a part of the university, is breaking a university policy, then
Yes,
university
a
officials
part of the
have
university. These two gentlemen are just
to.
part
Well,
of
when
the
you're on
public.
campus, you're a part of the university community.
No, that's not how that works. This is a public access building. Anybody can come in.
Correct, but you are also a part of the UNG community when you're here.
No, that's not
So,
how.
You're a
so
visitor.
let me ask you this: if you were to,
I could do this in town hall if I wanted to.
Say
And
that again.
I could do exactly what they're doing in town hall if I wanted to, and nobody can do anything about it. I am allowed to be there.
and I don't know what town halls.
I could do this in the
Designated
police
public-
station. In the police station public lobby, I could
Sure.
do exactly this.
And I don't know what their designated public forum policies are. I'm simply just trying to communicate the ones that I have.
And I understand your job is just to communicate policy.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's all that's,
What I'm trying to say is they don't have to
I'm
abide by
I'm not here talking about law, right? That's not my argument here. My argument is not about Constitution. My argument is not about any of those types of things, right? My argument is simply about the expressive activity policy. That's all
Like,
I'm talking about.
I mean, this is going to be, yeah,
What you're saying,
right.
but we're here under, like I said, under
We're-
the Constitution rights as citizens of the United States to be able to speak openly. So,
And Mr. Harris, I don't mean to say disrespectfully, but I just want to say, like, up until this point, we've been very patient with you kind of insisting on having a conversation with us. Nothing personal against you, but we don't want to be having this particular conversation, right?
And that's okay.
And it's
If
been
you
kind of
say, hey,
coerced
Mr. Harris,
upon
I don't wanna
us.
have this conversation anymore,
Yeah.
that's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, and I don't mean that intentionally towards you. I just don't think we're going to resolve it. Our understanding, our intention is just to talk to people who want to talk to us as citizens in a public space. And I guess my final comment on that would be, if that is somehow illegal, then the police officers need to come and let me know that's illegal and what will happen to me if I continue doing it. If not, then as a citizen of the United States, I would just like to go back to having the conversations that I was having before you came over. Not, again, no disrespect to you, just point of fact, right?
Appreciate it. You guys so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.